Hi guys and girls. So, time for a collective. It's been a while since I've done one. I don't think I've done one since I've had my holiday and then I've come back and I've just come back to pure chaos, it feels like. So, first collective for a little while. Um, it's actually I think at the moment what we are in is what you call like a 3 week period with no bad shit happening. Okay, not necessarily bad shit, but we've got no retrogrades. We've got all planets are direct. Like there's no real big transits astrologically. So it's really interesting because what that kind of means is we've come off the back of a really difficult period where a lot's going on. We've had eclipse season, all these retrogrades, loads of stuff happening, and then it's kind of peaked with the full moon at the weekend and the end of Venus retrograde. Like some of you might have been feeling rather ropey, so a lot of ascension flu going on, so feeling quite ill, tired, so exhausted. But also you might have been purging a lot, so you might have had some like triggers come up, you might have had some realizations, you might have been doing some kind of shredding of layers over the last weekend, and now we're in like this really quiet, relaxing time. What that means obviously is yes, the thing is what's coming through in the energy, what I'm channeling is you might be like, right, okay, now it's time to get back up on the horse, because obviously potentially you've had a difficult time with these retros and stuff, and it might be like, right, I need to like kind of get back into the swing of things, I need to get some action going, I need to start dominating again, I need to start kind of being on top of my game, working on what I need to work on, blah blah blah. But honestly, I would say this period for at least a week or two is going to be more about resting and integrating kind of what's come up during the retrogrades, during the full moon. I'm hearing releasing cycles as well. So that's been a big theme since Pisces season, is like closing out cycles once and for all and releasing them. So you probably will find as well that in this next 3 week period, you still have little triggers trickling through. So you might still have like little, spirit might be testing you a little bit. They might be throwing some spanners at you for you to kind of figure out, and just basically to unpacking things. That's a bit of a theme, and just dealing with little tiny triggers, little tests, so little annoyances, minor inconveniences. But ultimately these minor inconveniences may build and build and build until you are like kind of really raging, and then you're going to be tested on how you react and how you respond and how you've healed from certain things. So bear that in mind. You know, if you do feel like you're seeing a kind of a pattern of a lot of tests coming up, you're like, something's weird about this, why am I getting all this bad luck again? That is because you are being tested on what you've learned during the retrograde eclipses and Pisces season, because ultimately Pisces season was a really big one for cycling out old cycles and getting rid of, out with the old, in with the new. I do feel like Taurus season is going to be a massive renewal for a lot of people, so do bear in mind that that's coming up soon. So if you are having a little bit of a difficult time, you're not on your A game, trust that when you get to Taurus season, things are going to start to improve there. I do think as well, throat chakra clearings, it might have been quite evident in this video so far that my throat chakra is going for a bit of a clearing. People are being pushed into speaking their truth a lot more. So you might be, again, tested on that. You might have somebody who, you know, is really pushing you to your limits with stuff, and you might be in a bit of a people-pleasing dynamic with them, and you're being asked to say, hang on a minute, no. You're being asked to call people out more. Like, stop taking shit from people when it is shit. Like, I think sometimes we are ultimately, at times, gaslit into thinking that it's bad to call someone out, or that it's, you know, it's bad to kind of speak your truth, it's bad to open up about when someone's upset you, or if someone's, and it's, you know, it's the be the bigger person kind of mentality, which fair enough, okay, yeah, but also if somebody's being outright rude to you, if somebody's being undermining, if somebody's making digs at you all the time, don't lay down and take it. Like, say, what is your deal? What is your problem? And it doesn't have to be confrontational, but it does have to be assertive. And a lot of people are being asked to and guided to assert themselves. As well as throat chakra clearings, we also have a lot of third eye upgrades. So that what that means for people, it can mean different people. Throat chakra, it can mean different things for different people. If you would consider yourself quite advanced with spiritual gifts, psychic abilities, you might find that you are getting lots of visions or lots of clairaudience or a lot more spirit guidance than you usually would. If you are not as kind of in tune, or you haven't dived in as much to your gifts, maybe you're starting out, or maybe you haven't dived in at all, you might find that it's more common when you're having a third eye activation for you to get dreams and dream state, as well as signs and synchronicities. Like dreams, dream state, signs and synchronicities are the more milder version of spirit communication. Like, it's more digestible. It might even be, if you are quite in tune with psychic abilities, you still have vivid dreams, or you still get a lot of synchronicities throughout the day, because spirit's trying to, say if you work a lot of hours, or if you're busy, you might not be able to access spirit's guidance as easily during your 3D life or your day-to-day activities. So spirit will give you lots of synchronicities, lots of signs, or maybe you need a little bit of something a little bit more tamer. I mean, to be fair, like I get a lot of clairaudience and clairvoyance, but I still get, and claircognizance, but I still get vivid dreams, vivid dream messages. So dreams are pretty much universal, I'd say, for everyone. But I suppose to kind of touch upon what you might be experiencing, if you don't have that, if you're not as tapped in, or if you've not dived into your psychic abilities, dreams really significant. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling, so I'm going to shut up. I've spoken for like 7 minutes. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just going to do like a little collective. So I'm going to do DF collective. Obviously, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. As for labels, twin flame, soulmate, whatever you want to go with, or not no labels at all. If that's what you, if that's how you see things, it's fine. But divine masculine, divine feminine. So I'm doing the divine portion, the divine masculine portion right now. I'm hearing as I'm hearing as I'm pulling these cards, spring is finally here and welcome home party. So for some, you might find that you are going to start seeing more action and more communication from your divine masculine. Spring has been something that has been channeled for a while for the collective, so you might be in line with that, where you are seeing more communication and more action coming into spring, going through spring into summer as well. So through the spring months going into summer, I'm hearing flowers as well. So for some, it might be that you find that your divine masculine does want to make a bit of a gesture, maybe buy you some flowers, send you some chocolates, something sweet, something to acknowledge the connection. And I think that's the more important thing, is for some, you will find that you are having an acknowledgement of the connection. What's coming through here is a bit of a mixed message, really, because that's what Spirit's saying to me clairaudiently, and that's what I've got to kind of pass on. But with the cards, we do have some kind of more, I don't want to say negative, but we've got like a bit of a contradiction here with the cards. We've got the Sun and the Knight of Cups in reverse, as well as the Nine of Swords. So I do feel like some divine masculines, Spirit is saying the wait is over. So actually, that's how I'm going to understand these cards a bit better now. These cards have come out in reverse because basically these divine masculines have been putting off this. They've been putting off coming forward with a gesture. They've been putting off the Knight of Cups energy and coming forward and trying to make an offer to their Divine Feminine, I'm getting loads of anxiety as well as I'm channeling this energy. So they're very, very nervous, and they have been putting it off probably because of the nerves. But I'm hearing signed, sealed, delivered as well. So they are planning something. There's something in the works. I'm going to just clarify these two cards and clarify this energy. But definitely, yeah, okay. So we've got the Nine of Swords energy, which is obviously anxiety. And then we have got the Four of Wands in reverse, which is a union card. So these divine masculines are like, I know what I'm doing here. I'm causing my own misery. I am basically the creator of my own misery, which is interesting because the first card that came out is the artist, and the artist is all about creation. That to me is like a god energy. So it's like when you are creating your own future, your own destiny. These divine masculines have realised they've got more power than actually what they thought they did. They've got more power to move through certain dynamics. And for some DMs, I feel like they've got maybe situations with karmics that they can't move away from. They might not, if they've not got a situation with a karmic, they've got a karmic situation. So it could be that they live in a different country, could be job, finances, all sorts of different things, all sorts of different situations that obviously involve healing and clearing karma. Now, they have realised, despite the fact that yes, they do have a difficult situation with their karmic or their karmic situation, they don't have an impossible situation, and that they can end it. They can put an end to it. It's just that they're going to have to go through a period of hardship. So that's something they have been avoiding. They've been running from their divine feminine because they are running from ending this karmic situation or wrapping it up. Because it's going to lead to difficulties. For some, it might be a very toxic karmic partner who will make their lives difficult. For others, it could be that the family dynamic that they've maybe got at the moment is going to change, or finances. Like, there's a lot of different reasons why they've avoided it, but they do realise that these reasons are limiting them. That's what's holding them back. And if they can just say, right, hang on a minute, I realise that my problem is a valid problem, but it's only, temporary. It's fixable. It's just something I have to transition through. I do feel like for some it's divorce, but for some it could be karma as well, with the Justice card. So I'm going to clarify that one. But I do feel like that it's linking definitely to karma, but it's also linking to divorce. Yeah, we've got the World and we've got the Three of Swords. So this to me is, I'm hearing embarrassment as well. This to me is divine masculines definitely not wanting to go through public shaming as well in some situations. So these are more specific situations that I'm channeling for. Obviously it might not resonate with everybody, but for some, these divine masculines have got potentially they don't want to be perceived as the bad guy if they are ending a marriage. They're a little bit kind of touchy about public perception of them, or potentially how their karmic might spin things to make them look bad. I think for those that do have a family, it's like, oh, they're leaving and they're leaving the kids, and that's not the case at all. It's just that obviously they're leaving the partner of the parent of the kid, the other parent of the kids. I'm looking at the owl on this card and I'm hearing wisdom, and it is like they are having to see things through a different set of eyes. They're having to see things through more knowledge-based perspective, which they thought they were doing. So they thought when they were saying, right, I'm going to stay with the karmic, we've got a family together, we've got a life together, blah blah blah, I'm doing this, it's logical, it's not emotion based. But actually what they were doing was they were acting from an emotion, which is fear. So they've kind of had that realization. They're like, do you know what, I'm just running scared, and it's not logical because me and my partner are miserable. Me and the karmic are miserable. The kids are seeing us argue all the time. Like, neither of us are happy. It's toxic, it's horrible, like it's crushing us both. And they are starting to realise these things, and they're like, it's not a logical explanation, it's actually tragic what we're doing. And I just feel like they really do feel very worried about what people will think of them. And the reason why, again, I'm saying this is because we've got these kind of, you know, these are representing kind of others' judgment, I feel, in this card at the moment for me. They're worried about what people are going to think, but people are always going to have an opinion. And I do honestly feel like the sooner that they realise that, the sooner that they can leave. We've got the Queen of Cups. This is the divine feminine energy for sure. They just realise that they're with the wrong person entirely. Let's just clarify the Queen of Cups and see what comes out. We've got the Hermit card. So they have had to kind of like move away from their twin or soulmate or, you know, whatever, the divine feminine. They've had to move away at times in order to see the truth. They've had to go kind of into hermit mode, into reflection. They've had to run, they've had to avoid, they've had to do all these things in order to see the truth of who this person is to them. The Knight of Wands is a hasty energy. These divine masculines in this collective are coming in quicker than you think. They really are coming in quicker than you think. They are wanting to move into union pretty fast, and I think that these connections I'm channeling for have probably been on the journey for quite some time. You've probably been on a longer road than a shorter road. Like, you've probably talking years in the making. You've probably been through a lot of hardships. You've probably seen a lot of very challenging situations, and ultimately it's broken both of you. It's broken your spirits, and you are just like, oh, I can't do it anymore. And it's that push now. It's that final push. There's a lot of anxiety there. There's a lot of anxiety from the divine masculine, and if you are a divine feminine watching this, you're probably getting a lot of anxiety too, because you're feeling your masculine's anxiety. Let's see. I'm hearing making waves as well. So I do feel like these divine feminines have recently had some towers to the connection as well. So you might have had some very tricky situations rise up in your connection, and you're probably thinking, no, it's not happening. It's not happening. Not in a million years is this happening, because that has just happened and I'm going to have to shut down from him. Or, you know, I'm trying to think of some examples without, you know, being too specific, but, you know, there might have been something put on social media that you've seen about your DM or his family, or, you know, and you're like, well, it's not going to happen. There might have been an argument, that he might have blocked you. Like, there's been some stuff that's happened recently where you have been like, this absolutely cannot happen. And potentially these divine feminines might have said, either I'm walking away, or I'm walking away for the time being, or I'm just focusing on me. Like, you do have an unconditional love for your divine masculine. You do have a lot of favour for him, and he can, you know, I feel like, I don't want to say he can get away with stuff, because that's not the case. It's not about that. It's like you've taken a little bit too much, and now you are like, right, I'm not going to let him get away with this. And it's not that you are shutting down from him. It's that you were just saying, do you know what? I'm done. I'm done. I'm overcooked now. Like, I'm really tired. Like, you're going to have to just come to me. You're going to have to come to me grovelling. You're going to have to come to me with a letter of apology. Like, I'm not playing ball anymore. I'm not waiting. And I think that's the important thing. Like, and it's not necessarily about waiting in these connections anyway. It's about holding space. And you are holding space. You are saying, when the time's right, when the time aligns, you know, yeah, okay, I'm going to surrender to the divine, but I'm not going to push. I'm not going to force. I'm not going to sit back and wait. Like, it's a good energy to be in, but it's an uncomfortable energy, or it's been an uncomfortable energy at times because it has had a sadness to it, or it has had an ending of a sort to it. But I do feel like that is ultimately why you potentially could then be feeling a lot of your DM's emotions. Like, you might be feeling a lot of sadness from him, you might be feeling a lot of anxiety from him, you might be kind of really energetically picking up on what he's going through. And I'm hearing sudden as well as I'm saying this. We've got the Seven of Swords. This is a card about deceit, it's about hiding things. And I'm hearing repeating patterns. You're seeing the repeating patterns of your divine masculine. You're seeing him playing happy families on social media, and you're like, this is just ridiculous. Like, you're not seeing through the lies that are being shown. You're not seeing through, you're not reading between the lines. You're not seeing what really is true, because you need to feel it, not see it. That's the thing. Like, it's about immersion, and you need to feel it, and you need to, and I think sometimes for you what's really irritating is the 3D contradicts what you experience energetically, and you're like, no, it's not right. You know, you might have got telepathy and you might be hearing one thing telepathically and then seeing another thing in the 3D, and you're like, this is just too much. Like, you are getting very impatient with the deceit, and your DM knows that. We've got the Fool. I feel like this is you. I'm hearing limitless. Like, you do realise that there's a limit, like there's a limitless possibilities to this connection. For you, Divine Feminine, it's more about realising and aligning to a bit of an ascension path at the moment than actually getting into union with your Divine Masculine. Like, I feel like Spirit's opened some doors for you with certain things, and you are like, oh my God, like, you want union. But again, it's that holding space energy. You're just holding space. You're like, okay, well, he can come when he's ready. Like, I'm doing this. And you're really kind of having your eyes opened to you by Spirit in other ways. So it might be that you have unlocked a new level of purpose. It might be, throat chakra's quite significant. It might be that you are getting some really powerful psychic abilities or gifts coming through, or really powerful visions. Like, you're having some really powerful spiritual experiences, and you are like having major realizations about who you are as a soul rather than as a human having a human experience. Like, you're having realizations about who you are as a soul having a human experience, and it's quite transformational. And I think it's put you in a bit of a, so that anxiety is crazy. It's put you in a bit of a broader minded kind of, you're very expansive right now, and you're just enjoying that. You're just kind of like, do you know what, I'm just going to soak this up. Like, you might be getting loads of messages from Spirit and then seeing them come out into play, so you are kind of aligning to that, feeling it rather than seeing it. And when you look to your Divine Masculine, that is where you think, that is where it throws you, because you're seeing him still in his karmic marriage, still do up to his old tricks, still being deceitful, but then you're having this really weird experience with Spirit where you are, it's really profound, and you're learning loads about yourself, you're learning loads about how the universe works, and you're kind of like, that's where the contradiction is, because like I say, it's quite exciting that what you're feeling and what you kind of experiencing with Spirit, but then you look to your Divine Masculine and he's letting the side down, and you're kind of like, do you know what, I don't want to look to him anymore because I can't have faith in him, I have to have faith in Spirit and myself. And do you know what, right, it's a beautiful place to be, because ultimately the next stage is having faith in your Divine Masculine as well, and knowing that he's going to come, and just not detaching, but I don't like that word, just again, I suppose it's having non-attachment. It's non-attachment, it's holding space, it's non-attachment to the outcome, it's surrender, it's very flowy, beautiful energy, it's being happy and fulfilled, and still holding like your Divine Masculine in unconditional positive regard. Like, it's an energy that we've all probably been in at times, but it's an energy that's difficult to stay in, because you do look to your Divine Masculine and then he triggers you in certain ways. So I hope that makes sense. I know I'm kind of yammering on a lot, but it's a very beautiful energy where these Divine Feminines are at. It's ultimately that energy that people speak about when they say, to reach union you need to be X, Y, Z. And I don't think it's always true, but I understand that yes, this is an energy that can attract your Divine Masculine in, and yes, it is an energy that is magnetizing, and it's a manifestation energy, it's a source energy, it's great. It's the energy that people talk about that you step into before union, so that's what makes me think that it's very close for this group. Union is very close for this group, and like I say, you might dip into this energy sporadically throughout your journey. You might have had this energy multiple times and then been triggered into, you know, a different kind of energy. But I do think ultimately this group are stabilising in that energy. I'm going to see if I can pull any more cards before I kind of wrap this up, because I've literally pulled 2 cards for the Divine Feminines. I don't think that's a bad thing though, because it's just channeled messages from Spirit, and you know, sometimes that's how it works. That's how these things work. I like doing just pure channeling too. Oh, very interesting, very interesting. But I am glad I've pulled these more cards, some more cards, because we have got some interesting ones. Right, we've got Six of Wands. This is a victory card. It's the lap of honour. This is a lap of honour. I mean, look at that. That guy is just like, right, one final round before, and you know, everyone's cheering. That's the vibe I'm getting with this card. Like, what you're doing now is you're finishing up these cycles, you're ending them. You might be getting a few triggers here and there. You might have said to yourself, I'm not waiting for my DM anymore. I'm kind of pushing him. He's on the back burner. He can do what he wants to do. I'm just excited about what I've got in store. And it's a lap of honour energy. And then on top of that, we have the King of Cups, which is very interesting because obviously we had the Queen of Cups for the Divine Masculine. So Divine Masculines and Divine Feminines are stepping into this King and Queen of Cups energy, which is flowing unconditional love. So despite what I've said about how at times you are kind of like putting your king on the back burner, that is ultimately the energy that you are seeing within your Divine Masculine when you connect to him energetically. You're not always seeing it in the 3D, and that's what throws you. But you are seeing it in the 5D. You're seeing it with telepathy, you're seeing it in the energy. Like, he is unconditional love energy. Like, he's being very supportive in the 5D. You are in return. I do feel as well like if that's not something that you're experiencing right now, but you resonate with the rest of the reading, that's the next stage. And the next stage after that is to just stabilise in that energy. The court counterparts both stabilising in that unconditional love, flowing energy, kind of detaching from the outcome of how it happens and when it happens, but also knowing that you want it. That's what I'm seeing with this group as well, like knowing you want union, but it's okay when it happens. It's okay that it's not here right now. I'm just doing me, kind of thing. But yeah, again, for this group, it is going to happen pretty suddenly. It's coming around sooner than you think. And I do think that these Divine Masculines are really sick of making themselves miserable. They are stepping into a new era, and the Divine Feminines are stepping into a new era also. It's like it's making space. It's a making space era, so that you can create action, so that you can create movement, so you can manifest in your dreams, your reality, and your union ultimately.